Hi Cancers, and my apologies for being delayed this month with your things, but that's why you're the very first out of the gate getting September as well. So September and October, you guys are really getting a big forecast. So let's skip all these preliminary introductions and jump right in. Hi Cancers, welcome to September-October 2017. Or if you're listening to this at any other time, this means this is the right time for you to hear it. For some reason, you need to hear these messages. So, this is possibly the last time I'm doing these big ones. They're going to probably be featured on Vimeo for next to nothing, maybe $2 or something. But at least you kind of like see the demonstration of how my big readings fly on the wall looks like, because I just don't tell you, you know what, just like a turn left or turn right. I kind of like really teach you how to get there. So just to give you a quick overview, we are starting with top of the line. So demonstration, like right, we see the mountain. So we are starting here top of the mountain. That's where you have to strive to get, right? And don't be lazy, try to really get there all the way. So you know how before I would actually just give you this as the last one, you have to strive there, but now I figured out, you know, you guys are very smart, you are very intuitive. My actually viewers are, I really have to admire you, like really out there. The suggestions that I get from you are absolutely amazing. You know, Kat, this means to me, like, it's spirituality is amazing. So we are starting with this first segment, kind of like looking from the top of the mountain, like, this is the lay of the land, that's what I can do, that's where I can go. Then we are going to go to the second part, which is kind of tarot. So we are going a little bit lower, ledge. So it's kind of like, okay, imagine if you're climbing up to here, then everything is going on through your head. Should I go? Should I not go? All these doubts and worries and all this kind of like insecurities are coming through. So tarot kind of connects us on that spiritual level. These are more or less oracle cards, goals, and tarot is more kind of like a spiritual guidance, timeless guidance. So, given that most of you want to know, I want to know what's happening in 2 minutes, right? We're going to go down, and here we're going to go Lenormand. With Lenormand, like going this much down, we're going to see sort of like what is really going on. This is the blueprint of your life, Cancer, right now. So let's see what is going on, and let's kind of like try to figure it out, right? And then lastly, we are going to go all the way down into this nitty-gritty kind of things and all the emotions. Everybody that is elbowing you, everybody that wants to cut you off, we are going to see it through the Gypsy spread. So let's jump in. You guys, it's amazing. When I actually was shuffling the cards, the ocean and lake jumped out immediately. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, look at it, the water sign is getting like all this kind of like watery images. And I thought that was kind of like really amazing. So I'm sure that most of you really kind of connect with the ocean. So when we watch these waves in the ocean, right? So the higher the wave goes, right? The deeper is the wake that follows it, right? One moment you are the wave, another moment you're the hollow wake that follows. So I think this is saying that you need to enjoy the both and not to get addicted to, you know, either one. Don't say, I just like always want to be on the top. It's just not possible. Simply see the fact, it is not possible. It has never happened and it will never happen. So why is not possible? It's simply not in the nature of things. So what should you do? So enjoy the peak while it lasts, and then enjoy the valley when it comes. So what would be wrong with the valley? And what would be wrong with being low or laying low? It's a relaxation. A peak is an excitement, and as we know, nobody continuously exists in excitement, right? So of course, the water is a huge part of our planet, and we kind of like develop relationship with those ebbs and flows and tides, right? And this is like something that has been going on for millions of years, and it will continue as long as we are here, right? So I think the oceans and humans have something in common. We both consist of liquid, right? So it's 70% of the earth are oceans, and I don't know, Women are 50% of liquid, and men are, I think, 60% of the liquid, right? So I think this card is definitely asking you to kind of regulate your emotions and kind of like figure out how to better be in the center. Because if you are fighting this ebb and flow, you probably are also fighting the ebb and flow of your own feelings. Maybe you're denying your hurt, your anger, or sorrow. Either maybe you're attaching yourself to one or the other, right? And hesitating that the life goes on. You guys have this tendency of being disillusioned and kind of climbing up. So don't constrict yourself from experiencing your emotions. It is like trying to stem the tides that grow even more forcefully each time when humans try to control them, right? Allow yourself to kind of like swim in all kind of variations and try not to resist them, right? So here is like we're talking about the huge body of water that basically is possibly threatening us when it cannot turn against us. And it's basically really warning you that we have to go deep inside of us and try to figure out how can we control things within us, even though we cannot control them outside of us. So lake is a little bit different message, right? And honestly, I cannot, and I always say this when I see this card. If you guys didn't see the Notebook, there is that scene with swans early in the morning. Hi Matrix, what's going on? Just water signs for you? He must be Scorpio, right? Are you a Scorpio? Are you a Cancer? Are you Pisces? Ugh, nada. He's just a black kitty. And there he is. That's a rare appearance, guys. Hi Matrix. Say hi. He's not as communicative as Safi unless she's around and he talks. So let's go back to lake. So as I said, the lake kind of like really gives us this feeling of deep internal stillness. After going up and down and riding the wave in excitement and relaxation, we are getting here, you know. It's kind of even funny when we see this unoccupied boat over here, right? That kind of like waits for the next passenger. It's like everything is at rest over here if you really look like it. So this is telling me that maybe you guys had a really the speed of your life kind of increased, and maybe you're feeling that there is no end of kind of like, when is this going to stop? Almost like the brakes are not working. What do I do, right? And it's maybe technological whirlpool, maybe it's kind of like motions in your life happening. And this card is saying there is like no need to be or feeling a prisoner or have this hurry up syndrome or feel trapped. So if you have any kind of noise in your environment, which that noise can represent non-stop thinking, right? It can be really critical for you right now to kind of like ground yourself, to kind of like seek the stillness and to kind of like go deep inside and try to kind of find a place like far away from human made noise, right? Because this is nothing but serene. The only noise that I love you would be that movie. Of course, it's like very syrupy, but the Notebook is definitely required reading in my household. So now, you guys need to find this like stillness, this lake inside of yourself, which can be really much easier if you're doing that in a quiet place or in a natural setting. When you're doing that, it kind of relaxes your mind, but it also heightens your awareness and it heightens your senses, which kind of gets us over here to this Milky Way. Yes, sorry Matrix, did I touch your paw? Did I touch your paw? Check this out. He's tickly. He's ticklish. He will scratch me, you know. He knows he kind of resists me for a while, and then he kind of warns me, and then he doesn't scratch me. He just puts the paw like this without the claws. Right? I'm sorry, baby. I'm not going to do it. I'm just demonstrating bad things to you. Such a pretty fellow. So guys, Milky Way, what does this tell you? Like, we are like one little speck in this Milky Way, right? I think the Milky Way is said to be one of billions of galaxies in the universe that we know. So it contains between, I think, 200 and 400 billion stars. And this is the one that is the most familiar to us, being the sun, right? So the oldest star in our galaxy is like, I think, 13 billion years old, and almost as old as the universe itself, because the Earth is only 4.5 billion years in existence, right? So distances in the universe, in space, are measured in light years, right? So I think the Milky Way galaxy is believed to be 100,000 light years in diameter. It's kind of like enormous, right? And it gives us some kind of like perspective that if you just go down, and then like all of this, they're just one galaxy next to each other. So this is really seeing this huge picture. And this is telling us that maybe we have lost our perspective, that we are like stuck in this little kind of spot, anywhere you name it. Maybe this is us, maybe this is our entire galaxy. So there is a much bigger picture that we need to attend to. So detachment from the things in your life doesn't mean that you no longer care, or doesn't indicate that, you know, you just don't want to get involved. It only is saying, look, try to see things from a different point of view. It kind of like it could be an outlook that is not clouded by emotions or judgment or any kind of attachment to outcome. Kind of like just rest in awareness of the things, right? You just can be the witness of your own ego and clearly allow yourself to experience, like, wisdom, where you're not so much involved. Let me just try to put this better for you to kind of like anticipate the outcome. Now I try to actually see what kind of clarification I get, and even though these two cards are not appearing the same, I think they actually in essence speak about the same. Just like going up and down with ebb and flow in the ocean. Success is a kind of similar flavor, right? Because if you really look at this buddy here riding the tiger, he is so happy, so excited, so on top of the world. And the whole world is celebrating his success with some kind of parade, as you can see, right? Now, when this is happening in life, and that's the excitement, right, that you have, just enjoy it, right? And remember that parades have a beginning and an end. And squeeze every single drop of happiness that you can experience. But at the same time, don't be tempted to hold on to this moment, because that's the feeling when you get stuck. I think that the greatest wisdom to keep in mind with all the phenomena of the parades in your life is that no matter what happens, whether they're like the height or the valley, this too shall pass. So celebrate and keep riding the tiger. So maybe you guys are into the surfing mode. Now, what I saw next, it really excited me. The Master card is very unique to this deck. And if I can get this camera better, I can even see you this better. The Master card is basically talking, of course, about somebody who is getting it. This is not about somebody else. This is about you. Look at this purple color. Look at that uplift over here. See, the people are naturally drawn to masters because they have done the work and they can actually pass on the wisdom to them. So you guys are right now on this path of attaining that mastery, because beyond mind there is an awareness that kind of is not given to us by the outside, and it's really kind of not an idea, and there is no experiment up to now that has found any center in the brain that kind of corresponds to awareness. Just think about it for a moment. So how are we aware of who we are? How are we aware that this is all there is? So why do some of us believe in spirituality and the others don't? Why some of us believe there is much more to us than just flesh and body, and why the others don't? So awareness is kind of like really the key answer to all of that, right? And the whole whole work of religion or meditation or prayers or affirmations, whatever kind of works for you, right, is to make you aware of that is mind, and you sort of like are not the same as your mind, right? So that very separation is possibly the greatest revolution that can happen to anybody, and it has happened to you, Cancer. What now you can do and act like on things that will make you more joyous, that will fulfill you, that will give you contentment, that will make your life a work of art, that is a beauty. And it's only possible when you are awake. Right now, you're still asleep, fast asleep. And the mind, the servant, is playing the role of master. And the servant is not even your servant. The servant is created by the outside world, and it follows the outside world and its laws. That's the key. Because these laws say, enjoy the ride. Enjoy. Once, however, when you become aware, when you wake up, your awareness becomes a flame. It burns up the whole slavery that the mind has created. So, trust me, there is nothing more blissful or more precious than freedom. Because this means you're being a master of your own destiny. And there is like this huge feeling of understanding that comes with this. Because look at this beautiful card. There is this little bird, and look at this kind of like bars. These bars are actually the bars that are fading off as they actually kind of go deeper, right? So this card is basically telling us that we actually are not trapped, but maybe we are choosing to be trapped. Because look, there is this freedom going further. So this is telling you that you need to find a way, and this is again connecting to that huge issue of perspective, how to see it, what is important, who do I want to be with, and why am I trapped. So we're going to see how this really relates. And also at one point in this reading, guys, it's going to be an interactive part where, you know, you're going to ask a question just like what I did in my bi-weeklies, and you know, you'll be able to pick your own card and see where this leads. So, tarot part. I have already done the shuffling, so we can actually jump in. So, Cancer, release your ex. The time has come to clear our energy. This is not just the very last ex, or the ex before then, or so on and so forth. Release your ex is talking about the energy that comes with them. The anger, the hurt, the things that they chipped you, the things that they took away from you, the things that have changed you. You know that innocence is that pure state of mind. And each time you feel bitterness or disappointment, it's almost like putting a mud in a clear water. So this is asking you to clean it, to clear it. The suggestion here is like, write it down. Because it could be a whole bunch of people here and a whole bunch of things that we are putting on our list. So our list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So instead of like kind of like trying to firm ourselves up and get stronger and stronger, we actually end up with a huge number of things that are pushing our buttons. So it's a very simple way of dealing with this. Write it down. Write down like what bothers you. Write down how you were wronged. Write anything down, like as if, you know, this paper is this big kind of like servant and listener. Wait for the full moon and go and burn it, and just thank it for serving your life as a growth. Because everything that happened was the ebb and flow as you kind of had it in your cards, right? So now it's asking you to kind of finish this kind of ups and downs, finish the anger, finish the sorrow, and just go into the stillness. Go and understand your way, put things in a perspective, okay? After all, you do know that you're a winner, and you're getting your own mastery, you're getting your own understanding and your own perspective. So, on the bottom of that here, we have King of Wands. you guys will be dating this month. This is somebody sexy. This is somebody who is really, really fun to be around. So, codependency, chemistry, true love, past life relationship, right? Release your ex. It can be the ex coming from past lives, that you still have this intensity. Let your friends help you. Calling in your soulmate. Wedding. You deserve love. Engagement. And attraction. Okay. We have the sun reversed. So you are being burned out on some issues and you're not even able to cope with them, right? Sun talks about celebration, moving forward, innocence, just everything we spoke about, that ebb and flow. But then codependency means you keep doing things that actually really not good things for you and keep pushing yourself in a situation that kind of is awkward. So there is a certain burnout, but there is this chemistry coming out with, in a kind of like slow manner, somebody's coming to your life. It could be somebody young who kind of appears to be wise, or it could be somebody older who appears to be very playful. So they have like kind of interesting characteristics about them, and that's how you will recognize them, because you're like either hoping for true love or kind of like really trying to discover love for yourself in here, but you're still having walls around you. You're still kind of like just having your sandbox. The truth is, you cannot have the true love there because it is in the box. You are in the box. Or how can you play if you have to hold on everything that you have? So let's see what happens to this past life relationship. There was this friendship or understanding and feeling that you're clicking with someone. And then again, let your friends help you. What was this here? That's like this codependency over here, the burnout over something. Did somebody manipulated you and promised you the world? Or is there some kind of addiction? Drugs, cigarettes, hobbies, people, alcohol. It's certainly saying that there is like certain lack of balance. This also could be a person who kind of like really paints such a beautiful picture about life and what gets to happen, and then they just vanish. They never wanted that picture to happen. They just like amuse themselves with storytelling, and sometimes we stay devastated because we actually were really falling in love with a person, thinking that they could be so good for us. So you see, calling in your soulmate, and again you have another 4, and this is reversed. This is telling me that you're still attached to somebody from the past. You're trying to get over somebody. There is like melancholy and there's depression. This card also tells me it could be feeling of sorry, a sorrow for yourself, feeling that you're a victim. This is a very non-productive state to be in, either of these two. 4s are talking about building it, and that's why they are giving you a checkpoint saying, wait a minute, do you really think you can build something? You're sitting on it, right? You kind of have to start putting things in motion. So wedding card here means that you are either thinking about wedding or long-term relationship or moving forward in one direction, or you're dealing with somebody who is committed, or there is like some way that you want to kind of like create something or commit yourself to something, and there is some motion of something going really, really fast and forward with kind of like gusto. And be very careful, because this is also talking about lots of push buttons that can happen. And if this happens, remember, you have to strive to go to this ocean, and things can actually evolve into anger, into overly fast, because here initially starting slow, it tells me that you're still dealing with something from the past, and maybe this is the speed that can go. But somehow some of you are feeling that time is scarce and you kind of want to rush things out. Be careful. This is not the speed of Cancer. This is the speed of the air sign. You have to find a comfort within your own speed. So now you deserve love. That's the environment, and something is going to be happening. Judgment reversed is one of these karma cards, and it is saying, okay, so somebody made a decision that they knew between the right and wrong, and they wronged you. You have to get it. It hasn't been about you. That was on them. It was about them, what they consider justice, what they consider truthfulness, what they consider loyalty. Even though we use the same words, not necessarily people understand the words the same way. So it is kind of sometimes good to talk about it. But here the point is like, if you're doubting that you're lovable, because I see it here, some of you are closing up. That's the Cancer thing. Off I go in my little kind of corner. Don't, because it was not about you. It's asking of you to engage in life again. Yeah, you cannot think. You see, the Lover's reverse tells me that you feel that choices would be so bad for you. The choices would not bring you this love. And look at this, like you want this true love. You want to call your soulmate, and you are afraid. But you see, there is attraction, and yet there is this pain. So that was like a third person. And this is that past life that is asking you to release your ex. There is something opening up for you guys, but you need to release somebody, because there are two people that are residing. You have the King of Wands, a really fun person, actually 3 people, possibly 3 people. You have Knave of Pentacles, somebody inconspicuous basically, pardon me, who is going to just come across as a co-worker, as a friend. Hey, you know, let's do this. Like somebody who you might not even consider to be the person, and soon you're going to develop the chemistry and maybe even confide in it. Then it's going to be some fun dater, and then it's going to be a BSer, right? So let me just quickly see what we have here. Yeah, you see, that kind of like was fun and games over here, with kind of like feelings in the past. But somebody, again, I see this manipulation. I see the Knight of Chalices here. It's again, somebody was like really living out their dream through things that they actually said to you, but actually it was not really going anywhere, and they knew it couldn't go anywhere. But it looks like you managed to drop these burdens, because like Ten of Wands talks about, okay, it's hard, but this kind of like means, okay, you know what, I just cannot handle it. I have to kind of like deal with just like one small segment and focus on it. As a result of it, some of you close down. Some of you kind of like don't know which path to take. Nine of Pentacles is actually the card that we all have to have, and we all have to absolve before we move into relationships. So you're not there yet, has to turn around. So you have to understand that, yes, relationships generally don't work out. Huge percentage of them don't work out. And even if people tell you, oh, my relationship is so nice, just give them some time. So the key is, which relationships is the workout, when people feel really solid and accomplished in themselves. Because you see the difference here, there is like this, like I'm putting the pause to myself. It's mine, 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 mine. I'm opening my ears because I'm thinking the threats are coming. But look at this relaxed state, coexisting with the birds, enjoying the lush things over here. And that's the same card that you had over here. The success. Enjoy it. Maybe you think that something that happened to you was not really very successful. Believe it or not, you actually are progressing. This is telling me again, it's going to flip when you kind of like feel better. It's going to feel enjoying the, again, riding the way where maybe for a moment you're still kind of like trying to find your sea legs. So let's see what happened about this dude, and it looks like you need to talk to your friends and rely on your friends. Cut him off. Cut this off. If you see somebody who is not following through, don't wait for 3 months down the road. First time they do it, get your antennas out. Ask, hey, you know, this is what we talked about and this is what happened. How come? And see what they say. So you know what they say, first time is on you. And you did discuss it, so it's not that you didn't bring it to their attention. Just don't do it in the angry way. Do it with the open mind, because maybe something really happened, because you don't know this person possibly yet. Second time this happens, you can ask the question again. But this time, don't take the answer to face value. And then you have to make your own decision. And this is the time to make a decision. Because if you take it and swallow it a second time and you feel it in your gut, it's kind of wrong, trust me, it's going to keep going. It's going to get even worse. Yeah. And then you can continue living in a dream world that things will change, and they won't change. So let's see about this depression, calling in soulmate and feeling you're not getting over someone. And it looks like that maybe somebody, I'm sorry to say, left you. This is a Two of Swords. It's like when you're already feeling kind of exposed and you're walking this tightrope, and then just somebody kind of affects your life in a kind of like really profound manner. And obviously the two, it's kind of like feeling of belonging, and it seems to be over and kind of cold and harsh, and all of a sudden you're free. What is this telling me is you may think that this person that you still feel attached, or people and all these issues that you had in the past that you're still feeling attached, is really important to you right now. But you know what? We have millions and millions of soulmates. It's just like coming down on this planet and saying, well, I need that particular slice of bread. We have many slices of breads. Some of them are going to be perfect, some of them are not going to be perfect. So this is asking of you to, again, balance it out. Look at this. It's asking for your head to be affected with this, to kind of put your brain waves to work. Because this is also very, very fast energies, just like this one. Yeah, this kind of like goes forward, goes backward. This is so typical you Cancer. And yeah, you simply cannot move forward. There is something or somebody, maybe somebody's relationship is in a way, or maybe your sense of morality, because this is your card. Chariot is representing Cancer, but Chariot is also representing sometimes thinking in terms of black and white. Sometimes there are people who basically cannot even see the obvious, and this is what happens when Chariot is reversed. You know, the obligation always trumps love. I do have to tell you this. And this is why we do have institution of marriage, because, you know, raising children is a tradition. We used to do that in the 60s as a community. I guess even back in the past, because we didn't have all these resources. Now, when kids are basically raised in front of the television and parents are really busy, it is really crucial that parents are assisting children. So if these people who are maybe stuck in their mundane existence kind of stray out and kind of like smile at you, because maybe that kind of makes them feel better for a second, just to kind of break that monotony that they're experiencing, don't engage, because engaging can end up in hurt. Because to them, this is an excursion, and to you it can mean everything. So be very careful about that, because the choices are hard, but generally always the outsider gets discarded. So that's where I'm conflicting here, because it says the wedding card. So it's either you that you're looking for some kind of confirmation, or it is the other person who somehow either doesn't want to give it to you or is not available, and hence you're feeling there is like something wrong about you where it isn't. You kind of have to get it that you deserve love. There you go. There's this commitment. You deserve commitment. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. This is also like, but you have to also decide with what kind of roles do you want to play. The Hierophant says like, look, we kind of have to be on the same page over here, right? And kind of like you go from there. You have like lots of major arcanas. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of clustering up here, and October seems to be really crucial month for you to kind of maybe clean the stuff. Look at this rarely comes together, and now both of them are reversed. So there is a time for you. Look, it's so conflicting. It is so you, Cancer. This kind of like is summarized in here. Like, this means coming to the same page. And when you do get on the same page, when you do get it, that maybe, you know, it is a time to lift off. It's time to leave this partner. It's time to kind of like say, look, I do have to go and find my own kind of thing. I have to dust off. I have to push myself. Some people just like wallow in their pain. Oh, he's so perfect. You know, it's just, he's not married. If he just realizes I'm so much better than his wife. People, wake up. There are so many different soulmates. You need to kind of reverse this, because when you reverse this, this gets reversed and a potential happens. Then this engagement is happening. You're the one chosen one for the other partner, and this becomes the soulmate card. And look what is happening otherwise. This gets stuck. It's going nowhere. It doesn't have the potential. Potential is not going to get realized. You cannot move forward because you're not allowing other people to get in, because you're holding on to what you had, thinking this is the only solution, and hence the soulmate, who is the real soulmate, is not coming through. There you go. Look at this. This new soulmate could be just the very first person that we had in the spread. Somebody quiet, somebody hardworking, somebody who you maybe wouldn't necessarily notice, somebody you have to really specially peek over some kind of wall to really see. And yet that person eventually will engage you, but it's not going to be whoo kind of a thing. Now be also very careful. Be careful if you have a male coworker, somebody who I mentioned that actually do have on your mind, that you do not dump on them everything that is going on about you and all the sadness, all the sorrow, because then you're starting with a burden in this new relationship, and that burden will never go away. And this is why these cards are saying, calling in your soulmate, you have to make this cut. You have to cut this depression, because everything else then is lifting off. Then it's a lifting off, and looks like you do want to, but then you keep going back. Because at the very end, I do understand the sadness and sorrow is difficult, but look, it says the hurts need to be healed. And this is just like, I mean, what we see in the third card. It's opening up to the kindness, opening up to the other people, but again, new love interest shouldn't be on dumping ground. Just like probably you don't want somebody to cry on your shoulder, because, you know, it will be a sign of not moving on. And you kind of want somebody who, at least on a date with you, will engage with you and have fun with you, because in this moment right now and right here, well, this is what we're trying to do. Let's kind of move something. Let's do something. So healing for you guys have to happen within yourself and within your friends. And again, it has been a third person, it looks like, and you have no, like you see, absolutely a third person. And this is what is bothering you. This is why it's very hard for you to trust. This is why you kind of like feel maybe you lost. There's no such thing as losing in love, right? And there's no such thing as winning in love, which we also had over here. So keep that in mind, because you have like both flavors. And guys, this comes down to vanity. And well, I need him to love me, and well, I'm just fine the way I am, but you know, I cannot move on until he or she loves me. The truth is, again, you just need to understand how you feel, and you need to get out, because this is asking you to put things in perspective. Who cares? There are many other million soulmates. And what if, for example, you guys have a lottery ticket and you do not win? If you keep crying about that lottery ticket and the new draw is going and you're not getting your ticket, you're not engaging, and maybe the same numbers will come out again, but you spend time crying. This is the same thing with soulmates. Do not waste your time, guys. There are other people, and the sooner you get it, the sooner the new door opens for you. Well, the next phase is going to be Lenormand. So what we are going to do with the Lenormand, it's actually going to be, as I told you initially, sort of like lay of the land. This can be actually even close to general reading, because we kind of like see different characters over here, and we'll be seeing like the trajectories 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, and we see different trajectories. We see the problems, we see what you need to watch for, we need to see what you need to kind of like where you need to relax. Look at this, the end of the love, the end of the dating over here, some kind of secrets. We're also going to see over here possible trajectories, in which kind of directions things will go, and also really how do you feel about yourself at this stage, and you know, how would you like to feel about yourself at this stage. So I see usually two significators, the lady and the gentleman. Either of them can be you, right? It just depends. It doesn't have to be the same gender, and one of them can be like basically the person of interest. So I'm going to just give you kind of like the overview for the both, and we'll go from there. You see, I do see here the mountain and the cross. The mountain is the mountain to climb. There are issues, there are karmic issues, and the ring is in the house of karma. So something has to be resolved. In your trajectory, guys, here, where's my ruler? It's kind of like a lovely trajectory. It's dealing with some kind of possible betrayal. Maybe there was like some kind of happiness that has been cut off, and maybe you feel like you're losing some kind of love. In your head, maybe you feel like you're losing your, you know, sweetheart. But look, just like in tarot, there are the birds. There's like a new lovebird coming over. And you see, it's bypassing that coffin, and it's kind of having the clarity and to loyalty, and it's leading to a new partner. There are those crossroads, and this new partner can be everything. He can be the house and a dog and the anchor, meaning moving in, somebody who is loyal, and somebody that you can actually kind of put your kind of like roots with, somebody with who can have your child with, you can marry, going in that direction. And the snake is like not negative in this deck. It talks about the sexuality, and again is the key to kind of like something new. Let go. If you do not let go, guys, you're going to be stuck over here in the past. This talks about the past, about somebody from the past, about the communication from the past. You really think this person was making you happy, and you think that your happiness cannot be reached without this person. But give somebody else a chance who for now is a closed book for you. And that person is really coming in your life really, really soon. I see that here as well. See that sun card that I had over there, it's kind of repeating here. You do have some kind of nagging issues going on, and I get it. And you do feel that, oh, if you let go, it's going to be so hard and heartbreaking. And you have like quite a few things that will actually fall back into that will be very negative, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4 only? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have like 5 sinister cards out of 7, right? The whip is 6. 6 out of 7. The whip kind of belongs to that category, but the whip in this particular situation over here is surrounding with really good cards. And both whip and snake talk about sexuality, talks about, I don't know, guys, something new really starting. And it can be, well, this generally this actually tells me wedding. And that's kind of the wedding card we had over there. So you will get on that path of the wedding. It's like right here. Look at this. It can be happening literally within 7 days of what you hear it here. Within a month for sure. This is something, but you need to let something go. You see, this has to go first. And somebody you meet could be somebody who is an entrepreneur, by the way. Or somebody who is contractor of some kind. That kind of like is important to them. And lastly, we are going to go to Gypsy spread, And with Gypsy spread, I'm also going to do grand tableau, meaning all the cards are going to be on the table. So let's put the Gypsy spread. I'm not going to go do it in front of you because these are more cards, but I'm going to click back in a second. Alright guys, so let me just tell you, here we have a few significators. We have the Lord, then we have foe, which can be an enemy, it can be a rival, it can be us, it can be different aspects of us. Then we have this buddy here, the lover, a single guy. We have a young woman, we have a sweetheart, we have wife. So even though there's a wife with kids or a person with kids, it can be us as well. And there is an enemy as well here, again a rival. So I'm just going to give you what I see, because they're obviously, this is just a general reading, so I'm looking at a whole bunch of things. The interesting thing is that there is a sweetheart over here, sort of like as an afterthought. This is like not even in the 50 cards, it's kind of like the way out. And there is like this sides. Maybe somebody like left. I'm still kind of sad about that. I need to recover about that. And this person doesn't frankly even be interested into dating, into going forward, which is kind of too bad, because certain things have finished and there is a time clearly that is denoting, look, time to kind of dust off, time to keep going. And this person is not even opening to love, but it's kind of like this cheerfulness and kind of like enjoy people with people. This person here is going to really rely on their friends and kind of like talk about things that happen, which kind of like some of you feel there were lies, there were issues with somebody who you were very intimate, but who you were very intimate died. Because look at how many conversations you have, quite a few around. And you guys are going to have some lucky moments. The others of you, and this could be the partner of the interest as well, are also trying to lift off, but they are kind of like a little bit more in this depression. They are really trying to fake it until they make it. They're hoping, but again they have the secrets, and they keep going back in their heads to the things that have been happening, and they were really hoping for reconciliation. But and maybe they were even lied to. Maybe somebody said, yes, I do want it, and that kind of like made them hope and look up, but kind of it didn't happen. It will happen for the some of you though, because ultimately there is going to be a huge surprise, a good surprise, and some fortunate event. So it's not going to happen in a way that you anticipate, but it kind of will happen. And something that kind of appeared to be a lie, be careful, maybe it was the truth. Maybe it hasn't been said properly. So, or it will be finally the end of lies, and some kind of transparency is going to start to happen. Now, this Lord guy could be somebody who is married and somebody who's committed. Kind of like, again, this person also is going through a whole bunch of things, right? Like, I mean, you see, like you had the faithfulness, you had a dog over there in Lenormand, and he's also going this conversation, and something that kind of like has to end, intimacy with somebody. And I have a feeling that he was with somebody else, right? Because these two guys would be a couple, right? And there is like this journey that is happening for the two of them. And I think that journey is a journey of counseling, because we have both Doctor and Melody over here. I think both of them, especially him, had his wings sort of clipped. There was like some desperation. There was like the feeling of not knowing how to continue. And I do see counseling, and it could be maybe the issue with the mother-in-law for some of you. And there was like an issue with a marriage for the some of you. And it could be affecting, but it kind of like was the interference of the third person. And it could be like for that even this third person was a guy. Some of you maybe stayed pregnant. And kind of like there is this wedding, there is the house, and there is the child, but then there is like this feeling of being stuck in a prison. So I guess this can be seen this way. that there are issues in some of your relationships, for the relationships that do exist. And you have to figure out how to communicate. You have to figure out how to make it. I can see there'll be issues in talking about how do we deal with money, and how do we actually work on consistency. How do we actually go day to day kind of a thing. How do you make this work not to be this prison, right? Because you have both servant and service over here, right? So it looks like one partner is going to rely really, really heavily on counseling, and it's kind of having lots of issues with who they are, with their ego, and how they perceive themselves. The other one is actually in a better shape, but feeling stuck. So it sounds to me that actually this couple can actually work it out. You know how you had this card, release your past, basically partners? Well, the therapy is a form of releasing it, because you bring things to the surface and they're cleared, right? Because there is the issue of this third person, and it's kind of lingering around, and it could be a younger woman, and something that has been going on and off, but it's currently not happening, what I see. So now, sure, there are new possibilities, so you guys have to be able, because looks like here the same thing that I've seen in tarot. There is something that is happening your way that can be so much fun and communication, and there's going and thinking through it, and there is this new journey happening. But some of you will hesitate and wonder, okay, I do want to be kind of happy, just like what you had there, going both ways, but is love really exist? I cannot trust anybody right now, right? Then also maybe feeling, okay, well, I do want to marry, I do want to continue doing this, and how do I go about it? Maybe you're putting the cart before the horse. Kind of like take small segments, take small steps at a time, and kind of like go and get there. Okay, guys, so now ask your question. Think of the question that you have and choose one of these three categories, okay? So door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. So if you chose this one, the answer is, we have 5 of C reversed. Then we have Fire King, which I thought, I shuffled, which I thought you had, yeah, you had a Queen of Wands over there as well. So that's this new person coming in. And then you have a 9 of Sky. So this is telling me, look, this is a water, this is air, and that's fire. So this text tells me about this depression and feelings about self-pity, and tells about, oh my gosh, I'm never going to recover, because look at the embarrassment and falling into this kind of like puddle and looking all wet and scruffy, and oh my gosh, I barely saved myself, I hate it. And maybe embarrassment in front of somebody else, and this is kind of causing you huge anxiety. Maybe you feel you're not adequate. Maybe this is a self-esteem issue. Maybe this is anxiety about, well, is he going to be with me or with somebody else? Is he kind of like whole anticipation of a whole bunch of negative events? Remember that ebb and flow that we had? Kind of like, guys, sometimes things are up, sometimes things are down. This means creating this up and this excitement. Whether you call it fear, fear is still excitement. You kind of like activate your adrenaline, but in a bad way, and that kind of like almost perpetuates this kind of like circle that kind of keeps going nowhere. And in this situation, just remember, you have to kind of go still, you have to get a perspective, and remember, you have to understand yourself and become the master of yourself. For those of you who took the number 2, you got the Wheel of Fortune. So yes, it's going to happen, it's going to be a lucky break, things will continue, and yes, you're going to have success. So enjoy while you can, because Wheel of Fortune keeps spinning, but it can on a drop kind of change its mode. And the number 3, the World. Look at that, there's so many worlds over there. The world is saying, okay, you do need to get a perspective right now. You do need to look at things differently, because this, for now, it was a lesson learned. You kind of passed it with flying colors. It's asking of you right now that you apply everything you have learned, so you already are a master with this question, and you guys going to the next stage. And this is not to say that you're not going to be challenged. This is not to say that, you know, life is easy. It just means the next time when things come around, it's going to get easier. And lastly, to kind of close this reading, I took one card from this The Enchanted Map Oracle, and you guys got the education card. And this is what it says. Life is filled with lessons. Be teachable. Wisdom comes from participating in life, not just reading about it. This card suggests that you might not have enough knowledge about what you seek, the direction to take, your circumstances, or the nature of your inquiry. Important information is coming. Now is the time to go to school, ask a person who might know more than you do, or find a teacher or a course of study so that you can come more clearly out and understand what is the next right action. Sometimes life unexpectedly sends you to an unfamiliar school, and you must learn by experience. Now is the time to be teachable, open to changing your preconceived notions. Be a student and be willing to state the most powerful mantra of all. I don't know yet. So guys, I think clearly these 2 months you'll be opening yourself up to a whole bunch of learning, to be from everything, to go to stillness. And this is actually really appealing to your Cancerian nature, but it's a good thing. You're moving to the next stage, you're becoming the master, and you're going into the new possibilities. You are kind of like erasing something that was holding you back. So this is the end of a journey for September and October. But guys, if you want, contact me for your private reading. I have many options. And until the next time, I love you, Cancers. Have a wonderful September and October.